Do you really need a social media campaign strategy in order to make money online? The short answer is yes. And if anyone tells you different, they're living in the past. What were you gonna do? Like rent a billboard or send out some postcards? If you were, that might be awkward. Don't do that. There's a better way. In today's video, we're talking about why having a social media campaign strategy is important. Let's dive in. Let's first talk about what a social media campaign strategy is not, because there's a ton of people that say they have a social media campaign strategy, but in reality, they're just messing around on social media. That's not it. So let's get into what happens to your business without a social media campaign strategy. And then I'll tell you a story that I heard that totally changed how I view social media campaign strategies for good. Okay, let's talk about what your strategy is not. Your strategy is not just posting on Facebook. Your strategy is not creating content for the sake of content. Your strategy is not throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Your strategy is these three objectives: lead generation, lead nurture, and lead conversion. We want to know that every single piece of content that you put out on social media is doing one or all of those three things, that it's generating a lead, that it's bringing them into your ecosystem or into your webinar or your email list or something where you can continue to nurture that relationship. We want to know that it's building the relationship where we can take them from cold to warm to hot, that we build that intimacy with them, because when you build that know, like, trust factor, that's what's going to lead them to convert. That's what's going to lead them to the sale. And for people that might be on the fence or they have these objections come up, your content, its role is to overcome those objections, to be able to help them to answer those questions or to overcome any blocks that they see, to show them that this solution is the answer that they need. So if we can reverse engineer all of those to be able to generate the lead, nurture the lead, and convert the lead, that's what's going to lead to sales. That is your campaign strategy. Guys, this is so important. I just want to drive this home, because if you don't have that, you are publishing your face off. You are creating content for the sake of content, and you are not setting yourself up for success or building an ROI. That time that you're investing, the money you're investing, the energy you're investing will fall flat. That's not what we want. So I want to hear from you. Have you ever thought of your social media that way? Are you guilty of maybe treating your social media platforms like this? No shame, no judgment. We are here to fix that today. But let me know in the comments below what your experience has been like so far. What I do recommend in your content, like I said, you're going to reverse engineer the lead generation, lead nurture, and lead conversion, is also to use the 80-20 rule, that 80% of your content is value-based. It's relationship-driven. It's about nurturing the relationships before you go in for that strong ask. I also talk a lot about dating your audience, that you're building the relationship with them. You're not going in for that abrupt sale. I'm sure you've been approached by people like that, whether, in used car sales or something like that, where it might come off too strong and it can actually damage the relationship. So your social media campaign strategy should also be about building the relationship, building that know, like, trust before you go in for that strong call to action. Now, a call to action is really important to have in any of your content, because it's going to tell your audience where to go next. But the call to action doesn't always have to be towards a sale. If it comes off too salesy, like I said, it can damage the relationship. But you could have a call to action that invites them to watch a different video to give them more value, or invites them to a lead magnet where they're going to get more strategies. Again, lead with value and lead with the relationship. When I'm creating a social media campaign strategy, I think about it in three different segments. Of course, we talked about lead generation, lead nurture, lead conversion, but I'm also thinking about how I want my audience to experience this. If I'm launching a product or service that I want my audience to get really excited about, I have to create the excitement. So having a pre-launch is really important. So I did a launch recently where I played into some curiosity hooks that I knew my audience would be intrigued by. Unfortunately, several months ago, there was this terrible online rumor that started about me, that someone said that I faked my 2 Comma Club award. I lied about earning $1 million, that I financed my own 2 Comma Club award. It was this really crazy rumor, and you can actually go back on my YouTube channel. I had a video where I addressed the rumor. I called it The Truth About My 2 Comma Club award, and it was a really interesting scenario. So in this launch, I actually played into the rumors. So we made these pictures that looked like newspaper headlines of, like, is it true Marley financed her 2 Comma Club award? Or we made these videos that were like the phone ringing and people asking, is it true? Did you fake it? And we played into the rumor because people that were following me had heard about this rumor, and I addressed it and put it to bed then. But it was interesting to bring up this gossip again, but for it to be coming from us, it kind of created this, like, what is she talking about? What's going on? And then at the end of every piece of content or every video, I said, all will be revealed on this date. So created this hype of like, what is happening? And on that date, I announced this big thing that I was going to be launching where I said, listen, of course I didn't finance. Of course I didn't fake my 2 Comma Club award. If you want to learn how to make $1 million in your business, this is how to do it. There was so much hype before it that then as we built the storyline, it created this excitement around wanting all the details. You know, if you think about the tabloids or think about TV shows that keep you on the edge of your seat, we actually played into that as part of our marketing launch. So if there's a way that you can create hype, whether it doesn't have to be creating rumors, but creating hype and creating excitement and curiosity and question marks so that people are on the edge of their seat and want to find out what the answer is. Now, there's a story that I heard that changed the way that I think about campaign launches. But before I get into that story, make sure that you hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be sharing with you all of these strategies that can help you to grow and scale your business online. Steve Larsen once shared this story of if you don't pre-launch your campaign, it's the equivalent of creating a masterpiece that you've spent so much time and energy, and it's like your life's work all combined into this beautiful masterpiece, and then walking out your front door being like, it's ready. Instead, think about how like when movies come out, when Hollywood puts out these blockbuster movies with these A-list stars, what do? Months before the movie even comes out, they have these incredible trailers playing in the movie theaters that get you captivated, that you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta come back on opening day to watch that movie. They have billboards on the busiest streets all over the world. They have the actors of these movies on a talk show tour. They're on radio shows, they're on late night shows, they're on daytime shows, and they're talking about the movies, they're sharing their stories. They're building so much hype towards this movie. They share their own personal stories, and then they'll share a little snippet of the movie that, you know, gets you captivated and makes you want to go to the theater on opening day to watch it. And it's creating this huge ecosystem of hype pre-launching the movie so that on launch day, on red carpet day, that's why they have the huge crowds of paparazzi and fans who have been eagerly anticipating this opening night. Think about that for anything that you launch, that you're not creating the masterpiece, walking out your front door and saying, it's ready. You're creating a hype. Maybe you're doing your own little talk show circuit. Maybe you're going on podcasts and interviews and Facebook groups. Maybe you're creating your own movie trailers that are hyping things up and creating these curiosity hooks and questions in people's mind that they have to show up on the day you launch it to be able to answer that question and relieve the curiosity. Think about that. How can your product launches mimic what Hollywood is doing? That is the key to your social media campaign strategy. And if you want to learn more about how to create content that converts into cash flow, I have just the training for you. Click the link below to get access to that today for free.